Of those,
Huge.
give me a number. What do you think?
I don't know, a few hundred million?
Yes, you are very close. 200 million plus. Yes, horrible. And he has these tables. Country by country, government by government actually. Soviet Union, Mao's China, National Socialist Germany, and then he goes to many countries you haven't heard of, many genocides you haven't heard of. For example, the Pakistan, it turns out there was a horrible genocide there.
There's lots of genocides, but I think a lot of them are also over, like, it's not, like, the current government's not, but needs some sort of structure that's not completely profit-based.
Oh, I agree.
Make sure
I agree, we need a government.
We need some sort of something that's not completely profit-based to run the nuclear energy things. So that
Well, yes, because nuclear energy could be used
It's
potentially
also
for
such a
creating
long-term-
nuclear weapons.
Yeah, and it's also such a long-term thing that, like, you can't.
I agree, you cannot-
It can't be run in the same, like, 1 year, 2 year process because you've got the.
I agree that it cannot be
about
done like the computers.
10,
I agree with that.
hundreds of years, yeah.
I mean, there must be some overseeing, because even if you use thorium, for example, instead of uranium,
Yeah.
you still end up with uranium, and you still end up with potentially plutonium. It's very hard to extract when you use thorium, but it's still possible theoretically. Nobody has done it because it's hard. It's much easier to do it when you start with uranium cycle, but with thorium it's also possible. So there will always be some degree of danger, and we need some government overseeing, but not the government overseeing right now. Do you know what it takes right now to start a nuclear power station?
I have no idea.
At least 10 years just to get a planning permission. And the amount of paperwork runs into tens of thousands of pages.
Yeah.
And for example, if you have a new idea about a nuclear reactor, say one based on thorium, which is one of the things I follow in the book, which is a really old idea. It's from the 1960s. The Americans made the first prototype from the 1960s. It's not a new idea.
Yeah.
But they will ask you, the first question they will ask you, how many water pumps you're going to use in your model? Well, the problem is that with this type of nuclear reactor, there are no water pumps. So imagine how you fight. Have you fought bureaucracy sometimes?
It's also just the fact that, like, it's like 4-year cycles of political.
Well,
so they don't want to,
that's another problem.
they're not bothered about something you're going to get in 10 years.
That's another problem.
It's nothing.
That's another. But I'm simply focusing right now with the problem that you are exchanging emails back and forth with some government official who is not there to solve the world's problem, who is there to collect a paycheck.
And to be seen as
to cover his ass.
To cover his ass and try and get.
This is what government officials do. They don't want problems. They want to be there forever.
Yeah.
Because it's a good job.
Yes. They'll do whatever they think will get people to vote them in.
So he's asking you how many water pumps. You're telling him no water pumps, and all the templates he has, all the things that he could copy paste involve water pumps.
Yeah.
So this alone puts you at a disadvantage, and you are paying for this back and forth emails. According to the American legislation, you are the one paying for the authorities who oversee and every exchange of information, every submitting of documentation costs you thousands. So you have to pay and pay and pay, and it takes forever, and it takes for 10 years, and eventually people just give up with all this red tape. This is what governments do. Governments create bureaucracies.
You need some sort of red tape to go. We're not going to empty the sewage pipes into the sea, or you can't. But that doesn't actually work. Obviously, what current red tape is there.
Well, there are so many private companies.
Some sort of red tape.
There are so many.
Red tape that is there is in the wrong places and doesn't work.
First of all, all this nuclear waste is not waste to begin with. It's actually a very valuable resource. People say nuclear waste use it as a generic term. What is nuclear waste actually? What we call nuclear waste is mostly uranium. There are some other elements,
Yeah.
but mostly unspent uranium because we are using outdated reactors. So it's actually something very expensive, very valuable.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you want to dump, you want to use it. If you're given the opportunity, it costs money.
Yeah.
It's as valuable as gold, say.
I don't know. I agree that we should have nuclear like power plants, but I think
So people
in
assume
an ideal world, but the world that we live in is not. Like I wouldn't trust like any company with that. I wouldn't trust any government.
But you
with
don't
that.
need to
There's
trust
already
any company. It's not about trust. I don't trust anybody. People are inherently bad if you don't
Yeah.
force them to be good. I agree with that. It's not about trust. It's about red tape, because eventually there comes a point when the investors don't want to be bothered with something that takes forever and costs an arm and a leg,
Yeah.
because people want to make money. And if you make something incredibly expensive and incredibly complicated, people just don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
This is the problem we are facing with nuclear. And with computers, fortunately, it was not like this. The computers were left to the private business and to the engineers, and they did it.
I think a lot of things that have been left to private company as well is why we've got massive increases in the energy that we're using. Like we could, we wouldn't need to have so many power plants if we didn't have so many data centers or so many all these other things where it's using massive amounts.
Trust
of
me,
energy.
they don't want to use massive amounts of energy
They
because
don't
it
want to
costs
use it
them
because
a
it
lot
costs
of
so
money.
much, but they still are doing it. They're spending millions on it, but they're still making.
They are
will
doing
spend
it
millions on it
because
they know
the
they can make
technology,
millions.
every technology is inefficient in its infancy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what the efficiency was of a steam engine at the beginning?
Very low, probably 20% or something.
No, less than 1%.
Wow.
This is
Yeah.
where we started. The efficiency today of a regular steam engine is around 40, and there are some prototypes that are efficient to up to 60%.
Yeah.
So this is how things work at the beginning. At the beginning, everything is expensive, unreliable, and inefficient.
But it's still something that's being pushed by, like, if things being run by corporations, it's going to push for what makes them money no matter what. not
Exactly.
Whatever.
And this is why you can afford a computer
Yeah.
in your pocket.
Yeah.
Because they want to make money out of you. Do you understand this logic?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't care about
No, I
you.
understand. Yeah. No, that's what I was trying
They
to say.
don't give a fuck
they
about
just
you.
Want whatever makes them money. They're not,
Yes.
They're not caring about any.
Because how
or
else
any
they will
planet.
sell computers to poor people in Africa if they cost $5 million?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I've read some quotations that have aged badly. There was one of those experts in the field from the 1950s about the computer market, and he said something that like this: the world computer market consists of 5 clients. 5 clients.
Yeah.
That was the computer market in the 1950s.
Now I'm gonna get going, but nice speaking to you.
Please do.
What is your name?
Didn't I give you a card?
Yeah.
Did I give you a
No,
card?
no.
Oh, sorry.
Alright.
I thought I did. Obviously, I'm the first one mentioned there. The second one is my co-author.
No, thank you. Nice one.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
That's alright.
It was nice chatting to you. This dog is restless,
Yeah, he wants to get going.
and I must get going as well. It's getting dark. See you later.
But we wouldn't be able to do that with the massive increase in energy that we're
Well,
using.
we will never be able to do it with renewables, at least with the renewable technologies we have today. I mean, theoretically, if you park a big solar panel array somewhere between the orbits of Mercury and Venus, it will give base load, massive energy, 24/7. Yes, but on Earth, and with the way we are producing these things right now, it takes so much energy to produce them, which means mining, which means heavy environmental impact, a lot of CO2 released in order to manufacture them, and then they begin to degrade within a few years, and they could be used for no more than 20, usually no more than 10. So if you factor all these things, it's an impossible dream.
With wind turbines, is less degrading. Obviously, it still needs maintained.
Well, actually, it turns out I've quoted some studies in my book. I have a chapter on this subject. They degrade a lot faster than it was expected. For example, one of the things that was not expected is the blades, the cutting edge of the blade. It turns out degrades very fast for a number of reasons, and this means that the blades must be replaced. But these blades, you know, they are not cheap. Their manufacturing involves a lot of oil products, a lot of
fiberglass. Like, there was one recently near where I
fiberglass and resin that binds
the wind in the top of it.
Sorry?
The blade. There's one near where I stay that recently the top of it snapped in the last storm. And you can see all the sort of fiberglass. And
the fiberglass reinforces it. It's like the rebar in concrete, but the binding is some resin that is made of oil products, glue, if you like, like the concrete in a
resin.
Yes, I'm not even getting to the problem with recycling, because this problem is another problem. I'm not even mentioning storage, because this is another big problem. I mean, it's under the current technology, it's an impossible dream. The only thing that works under the current technology that could conceivably achieve net zero, and I take global warming seriously, is nuclear. And the paradox is that actually the environmentalists increase the CO2 because when you're against nuclear, you are pro-coal. And in Germany they did this experiment, and guess what? The coal consumption of Germany shot up after they closed all the nuclear power stations, which was expected, by the way.
That would be expected.
So you see,
the energy's got to come from somewhere.
Yes. So you see, it's not some conspiracy theory. It's on the surface. It's obvious.
Well, I think it goes in with recycling. Like, that is in itself isn't something that's going to solve. It's like a greenwashing thing that's sold as like, oh, you as the consumer need to recycle your products, your waste, to make it a your fault thing rather than it being.
Recycling is not. I agree with you. Recycling is not taken seriously right now because it's associated with bullshit. But actually, recycling is a big deal.
It's a big deal, but it's also things of like in oil production, plastic is like the waste.
Oh, plastic!
A lot of it is like the waste product.
Plastic is a horrible problem.
There's no way that no matter how much you're recycling plastic, it's going to cost energy. It's going to do something which is going to always cost.
Yes, I'm not mentioning this because this is not something that I have personally studied. I'm focusing on stuff that's here, I have personally researched. I personally researched this thing. Does environmentalists decrease or increase CO2 production? It turns out it increases it. The opposite of what they claim.
Reducing